Hello and welcome everybody, my name is Mr. Llama and today I'm bringing you a PvP on Cloud Kingdom LE. This is going to be between our red Protoss Robification, I love the name, up in the top right corner, and down in the bottom left corner we do have our blue Protoss Axel, who of course I have casted many games for. And if you did watch his last game, Axel vs Rental, it is on my YouTube. The Zerg actually did go for an 8 pool, so I went and looked that up again, and he went for an 8 pool and of course pumped out those 8 lings right there to run across the map, and then went extremely economical, started building drones, got his queen out, everything like that, took that hatch as soon as he knew that his opponent was forge fast expanding, and those lings were able to kill off the forge and everything like that. So Rental, able to do a lot of damage with that. But that was an 8 pool, just to let you know. So anyways, here we go. We do have a PvP, and this is on Cloud Kingdom. So we'll have to see exactly what our players decide to do. It is a 2-player map here, so they know exactly where their opponent's spawn locations are, and this can be useful for anything, any sort of 2-gate proxy or anything like that. So it does not look like we do have any 2-gate proxies going down. Both players just open with that gate, and we'll see if they do get that early gas, or that standard gas, I should say. But yeah, so you can, a lot of times I've seen players throw down a pylon over here, or even like right here, and then you can warp gateways up here on the high ground of your opponent, and he will not even notice it. So he will just run his probe around here and go scout. As you can see, the red player's scouting path is like this, and he will not see a pylon or any gateways over there. So that is something that I have seen before, and possible that you may see it as well. And Axel with floating a decent amount of minerals right now, so I'm a little confused. Did he forget a second pylon, or did he just not take it very late? I'm very confused as to why Axel is down 3 harvesters already. So I'm not quite sure. So Axel a little bit behind. Oh, he's been saving his chrono boost, and his opponent has it. Okay, that makes sense. So, oh, Manor pylon. Okay, so that is exactly why Axel did not have a second pylon down, and he was able to trap 4 probes in there. He was able to actually trap 4 probes. So beautiful play, and this is something that you can have happen on this map. So Cloud Kingdom is known for these 4 mineral patches right here, and 4 probes will mine inside of there, and you can throw down a pylon right there, as Axel did. So able to get that block on his opponent right there with that pylon, and it did cost him a little bit in the probe count at home, as he is still behind in that probe count. But 4 probes were not mining for the whole time of that pylon right there, so I'd say it was worth it. Even if somehow somebody worked the math and it wasn't worth it, I would say it's worth it. And by the way, a completely wasted chrono boost right there on a stalker that he suddenly cancels because he did not have the supply to build it. And he still is supply blocked. And does he even have a pylon going down anywhere? No, he does not. So a huge mistake right here by Robification. Supply blocked for a decent amount of time. I guess he is cutting probes right there, so it's not going to do too much, and possibly he has this timing worked out so he can get this fast Twilight Council. But yeah, he's trying to build probes, and he tried to make a stalker and everything like that, so I'm going to say that that was definitely a blunder. So it looks like he's going to be falling a little bit behind now in terms of supply, but he is researching that blink. In the meantime, Axel throwing down those 3 gates as well, so it is 3 gate versus 3 gate, but we do have Robification with that blink. And Axel has not shown us any tech yet, though he does have double gas mining, so we will see what he's going for. And there's the robotics facility, so yes, he is going to tech up into that robo play. And he has this probe just kind of chilling around here. Gonna go ahead and try and get more scouting information, and stalkers will be out by the time he does come, but it looks like the Zealot's going to almost intercept this probe, get 2 shots off each, but not able to completely clean him up. So stalkers will be out, and Axel will probably assume blink stalker when he does see these 3 stalkers, as there will be no sentries in that army. And of course, if there's any sort of other tech, so Robification smartly going to send out just 1 stalker to pick it off and hide the rest of his army there. It looks like we might see a push coming right here, trying to time with this blink There's no Robo Bay or anything like that to blink up onto the high ground, and I do not even see a probe coming with this attack. So a little bit of a blunder right there for Robification, as you will want to have a forward pylon if you are doing any sort of pressure. Otherwise, you just can't reinforce quickly. So whenever you want to reinforce, you have to build all these units. And there we go. A probe finally making its way. But will this attack be too late, as this robotics facility is already up? An observer will be out, so he will see this. And he was going to Chrono Boost out an Immortal, I would imagine. We'll have to see exactly what he does if a Chrono Boost is used. No, so he's not Chrono Boosting it. He will just use his force fields. He does have 4 more force fields still. So that is 2 minutes worth, I believe, of time. Oh, 15 seconds, sorry, so 1 minute of time that he will be able to force field, and he's able to pick off 1 unit right there, and no blink does go down for Robification. He finally gets that forward pylon starting to set up. He has one here in the middle of the map, but again, so far away. By the time the units get there, Axel will already have another round of warpins, and Axel going to push down this ramp actually and take on this army. He sees some warpins coming, or those are Axel's warpins, I apologize. So going to be able to pick off 1 Stalker there before the blink gets out, and Axel definitely in the lead right now. He has that supply lead by 6 right now. He does not have the tech of blink on those Stalkers, so we'll have to see if Robification can abuse that at all. But with the Immortals out, he has kind of missed a decent window right there. You definitely want to be able to push into your opponent's base before that Immortal gets out, blink up right in there and do some decent damage. So get that Zealot up there, blink all your units up, and be able to do a lot of damage before that Immortal does get out. But he took a little bit longer there. Was a little bit supply blocked, and it looks like he's going to fall back a little bit. He is getting those Archons out though, so Archon Blink Stalker not seen as often, I would say. Usually when those Archons come out, you have charge lots or something along those lines, so the Archons can break down the barriers, and then the charge lots will just charge in on the army. That was a very popular strategy for a little while there, though I'm not sure I've seen that as of late. But it looks like both players are going to go ahead and expand behind this, so Robification with the map control going to go ahead and see the middle of the map there, and know if there's any sort of push coming out. And Axel just going to scout in this army. He will see the Archon, so he will know his opponent does have that Templar tech. And we'll have to see exactly what he chooses as a transition, and he throws down a robotics facility, or a robotics bay, excuse me. So Axel going to be going for those Colossus. So it will be Colossus versus Archon in the massive units section, and 2 more Templar are being warped in. And Robification getting those gases up very early. We'll have to see if he saturates them extremely early. Axel in the meantime taking a little bit longer to get his gases. And he's also falling a little bit behind in the probe count here. So when you are expanding on those 2 bases, usually you will want to be building probes out of both of the Nexus there, simply to just be able to saturate up the second here now. So he'll have, let's see how many probes on each patch. So right now he has 8, 3, 11, and 10. So he's got 11 and 10, so not the best saturation. He could definitely use more probes, and he's not making any more probes at all, so I'm a little bit concerned about this. He is throwing up a lot of gateways right here, though, and it looks like we are going to see a push from Robification. Robification definitely in the lead now, as he does have that supply count up there. Axel does not have any Colossus out yet. His Robotics Bay has finished. No extended thermal lance, though, has gone down. And all Axel's done right now is create this terrible choke for himself to try and engage out of. So his opponent going to be able to just pick away at this gateway right here. And yeah, Axel definitely in a little bit of trouble. He does throw up a cannon, so not too often seen right there, but this gateway is pretty low on the health, and Robification possibly going to back off of this. So very surprising that he's not using these Stalkers for more abuse right there, and he has transitioned into a lot of Zealots. We'll have to see if he uses that Twilight Council to get that charge, and possibly move into that charge Archon style of play right there. And here we go, so he's finally going to come back and start picking away again, and Axel looks like he's going to push out with some Stalkers, trying to do a little bit of damage, but he's going to have to retreat, as the supply count is definitely in Robification's favor. And there we go, Robification going to take out that gateway. So interesting choice by Axel to make that wall right there, especially with his units behind it, as that just left him very, very vulnerable for some sort of, right there, exactly what we saw, picking off of those gateways. So Axel just now starting that pro production up again, so a little bit late I would say, and he's 9 harvesters behind, so his opponent is going to be able to start that third. He does have the supply lead, and Axel in a bit of a difficult situation. He has fallen behind after being ahead there, but he does have that Colossus tech, so with good positioning in a fight, he will be able to do a decent amount of damage, especially with all of those zealots. As Colossus can melt those away pretty quickly. So he's going to make a push out with this one Colossus, and he does have the +1 advantage over his opponent, and I believe he knows this, as he did see his opponent's units, and it looks like Robification possibly going to try and meet him. No, just killing these rocks. We'll have to see what position he chooses to take. Axel not sending a probe out for any sort of forward pylon either, so going to have to warp in all of his units back here. And just now saturating those gases. So Axel extremely late on that gas saturation, but he needed the minerals because he was late on that probe production. So here we go, we're going to have to see if there's any sort of engagement right here, and it looks like Axel going to have a much better concave, able to force field a lot of these zealots, and so he gets 6 free zealots, something like that, to attack, and he's going to let one live. Actually, little hero right there says, I'll take on your whole army by myself. So Axel completely backing off of that. He sees that army, sees 6 Archons in the mix right there, so very, very scary. And he backs off, and it looks like this third is going to saturate right here for Robification. So Axel falling more and more behind. He's going to either have to take a third of his own and saturate it, or make some sort of big push right here and do a lot of damage, as he is definitely at a disadvantage. But, you know, he does have that +1, and he does have these Immortals, which actually do not. I just remembered Archons are not armored units, so Immortals do not do a lot of damage to them. I keep forgetting that. But 3 Colossus out, 3 is that magic number. It does a lot of damage, and it looks like we are going to have a push up by Robification into a terrible concave. So Axel going to have the best fight right here. It looks like Blinksucker is going to try and blink up and able to pick off these Colossus, but so many units have been lost right now for Robification. We'll have to see if he can do a lot of damage with these Archons right here. One Archon does go down. These Immortals are going to fall, though. It looks like the Blinksuckers did die off right there. And Axel able to claw his way back in, going to start melting these Zealots, and Robification engaging up that ramp into a terrible concave of Colossus, going to lose that fight. So the +1 defense did finish in time for that fight for Axel. So with the upgrade advantage, with the concave, and with the Colossus just tearing away at the army, Axel able to do so much damage right there, and he has completely fought his way back into this game. It looks like Robification possibly going to try and make a push back to save this pylon, but no, he is going to have to fall off, as those Colossus are too much to deal with right now, and he does not have anything really to deal with this. He does not have the any Archons, anything like this, so he's going to try and push up right here. He's going to get a nice blink right there to try and pick off these Colossus, but Axel able to micro his Colossus around and just let his Stalkers pick off the other Stalkers right there. So going to lose that one Colossus, possibly lose a second, I'm not sure, but did Robification lose too much in that army? Just trying to pick those off, so he's able to blink away and save the remaining Stalkers right there. But Axel doing so much damage, and it looks like Axel going to have to push forward right here. He is going to go ahead and take his third, get that start up. Of course, Robification has had his third for much longer, so he is ahead in that sense, and he does have the Harvester lead by 20 probes, so he is definitely going to be able to build that army up a lot faster than Axel, even though Axel did win that fight. So we're going to have to see exactly what Axel does. He does have that +2 upgrade on the way, and I believe Charge went down. Yes, Charge was researched for Robification, so that is going to help him in these fights, as those Zealots just having to walk their way across the field is not the best thing. But still no upgrades going down for our red player. Robification, there is another battle right here, and the Zealots will charge forward, so able to do a little bit of damage, but Axel's army just so far superior right now. And he's going to once again clean this up and take a nice little supply lead once again. So Robification going to have to rebuild his army and back off, but he has taken his fourth. In the meantime, Axel's third has almost finished, and is he making probes? Yes, he's making probes right now for that transfer. So smart there, and it looks like he is going to saturate it right now. So yes, so he's good with that timing. He might start warping in Archons of his own to deal with these Archons and deal with all of those Zealots. He did see the charge lots, so Archons of course melt those Zealots. And yes, there we go, does finally make that morph. And Robification once again taking the supply lead, as he does have that 4th base up almost now. He has had that 3rd base up for a long time, and he does have that harvester count. But Axel upgrades, already at that 2-1 versus the 0-0-1-1 just starting right now for our Protoss player Robification. So he is going to be behind. It looks like there will be another engagement possibly before these upgrades finish, as Axel's pushing out towards that 4th. So if he can pick off that 4th, that would be huge. He would get himself back on even footing right there. And here we go. It looks like there will be some sort of engagement, but Robification once again engaging terribly, trying to push down this ramp at a just filing down single file and losing more units right there. So Robification has transitioned mostly into this Archon Zealot army, and it looks like Axel going to possibly come up here and engage. No, he's going to fall back. He does have those 4 Colossus, which tear away at those Zealots, especially with that +2 upgrade, as now they do 19 damage every lance. So Axel getting that Protoss armor level 2 almost finished, but these 1-1s are almost finished as well for Robification. So Robification going to start catching up, and we'll have to see if Axel takes advantage. While he does have this lead in the upgrades, I'm sure he's aware that this +2 armor is almost done. He may be looking for that, but no, looks like there will be an engagement right here. No, Robification going to back off. He does not have that +1 yet, so he's waiting for that 1-1 before he tries any sort of shenanigans. There we go. He does get the +1, and here we go. He's going to push towards the natural, possibly force Axel to run back to his base. Axel going to be able to see this, though, somehow. Does he have an observer with that army? No, so just smart play right there. And an engagement does happen. The Colossus are going to do a lot of damage, but they are going to go ahead and get focus fired by these Stalkers. He's going to back them up and micro them effectively. And it looks like Axel going to be able to do a lot of damage. His Archon's taking out those Zealots, and it looks like Axel once again going to be able to clean up this army with those Colossus. The Blink Stalkers tried to chase them back. They were only able to kill off one, and another Archon almost goes down. There we go. So warpins by the Zealots. And these Zealots right here charge in and take out 2 Archons. That was the coolest thing to watch, as they just jumped and smashed 2 Archons immediately. So Robification now on his back foot. Axel has taken the lead. I would definitely say his harvester count has gotten up there a little bit closer, 59 to 73, still in favor of Robification. And Robification does have this 4th base, so he will be able to start catching up once again. In the meantime, the +2 going down for him. So he is behind in the upgrades, and once again, another engagement does happen. Axel is going to have the lead, though, in the supply, but these Stalkers are focusing down the Colossus. They are able to take out 1, possibly 2. No, only 1 Colossus does go down. At what cost, though? He loses so much of his army every time he's trying to blink back there and take those out, as these Stalkers just get free pickings on those Stalkers of Robification. Especially with that +2 attack upgrade, they're just doing so much damage to them, as the upgrades still favor Axel, at least for another 50 seconds here, until this +3 eventually does come down for Axel, in which case he'll be up 3-2 over his opponent. We'll have to see exactly what. And a huge warping of High Templar from Robification, but will he be able to morph these in time? It looks like he's going to start the morph. Axel going to have to do a lot of damage before all of these Archons morph right here. It looks like he's going to be able to take most of them out. 2 of them do go down before they even finish morphing, and Axel has able to do so much damage. Another warping of Zealots, and GG, I'm going to call it, because that was GG. Well played by our Protoss player Axel. Way to fight back in that. He was down pretty much the entire game, especially even when he was able to get ahead with that engagement. His opponent could just reinforce his army so quickly, but the tech from our Protoss player Axel with those Colossus and those engagements and the upgrades, of course, the upgrade advantage was huge, and that +2, 12 seconds away from finishing. So Axel able to take that game. GG, MrLlama out.